Welcome to episode 5 of Celtic Sagas and Law. I am your host, Martin Vaughan Watkin. As I said at the end of episode 4, I was going to do love and romance in the Celtic world in this episode. Now, if you think of the Celts, the Welsh, the Irish, Scots, they would not be the first people you would think of as the romantic nations, along with the French or the Italians, etc. But if you look into it deeper, we actually blow them out of the water, with all due respect to our French and Italian cousins. But the thing about Celtic love in the ancient world, now if you think of the Celtic lands, they are absolutely beautiful, mountains and forests, but to live on, they can be very harsh, so the people have to be hard and they have to be a no-nonsense type of people. Now, on saying that, they were also a very advanced culture as well. Now, for example, women had more rights than men, almost equal rights. It was far from femotopia, but they had rights under law and were seen as individuals in their own rights, not as property as in other cultures. Now, I claim they were advanced, and they were. I'll give you an example. Now, you take a teenage boy and a teenage girl that fall madly in love. Now, you are presented with 3 options how to deal with that. You can ban it, and you get the sort of block it, and you get the Romeo and Juliet type thing, full of hormones and love, and it doesn't end well. You can ban it fully, and some more primitive cultures will stone teenagers that digress. Or the third option that most parents would sympathise that have teenage children, you can ride it out. But the Celts had a 4th option. You encourage it. Now, this may sound absolutely crazy, but this is what they used to do. There was a tradition across the Celtic lands, and in Wales it was known as binding. And I think this covers parts of England as well. Basically, if they saw a young man and a young lady getting romantic together, the matriarch and the other elder females of the daughter or the young girl would have the young man round. They would obviously both be fully clothed. They would then lie them on a sheet and then put a second sheet over and sew them in together. Now, the process is known as binding. Now, you think they couldn't move or do anything apart from being each other's company and talk. And nothing kills teenage love than one partner or both partners going off each other. Now, if they still were feeling the same in the morning, well, this normally went on for a few nights, then obviously there was something there, so then they would have chaperones and all the rest of it. Now, there are many great love epics in Celtic mythology and in history as well. But this story I've picked is one of the lesser known, because I love mention these lesser stories. But I've also found elements of it throughout fiction as well, and you see it in films and books and etc. I know I'm old romantic, I can't help myself. But this story is set back in the Middle Ages in Wales, and it involves a young man and a young lady, Rhys and Meinir. Now, they grew up together on neighbouring farms and became childhood sweethearts. And they were the best of friends and were inseparable. And when they became older, they decided to get married. Now, in Wales and other the Celtic lands, there are many, many traditions that are covered in one of my books, the Celtic Cariad, which can be found on my website. And take the honeymoon, for example, is one tradition. Now, the honeymoon is a great Irish tradition where the newly married couple were given a month's supply of mead. Mead is made from honey, honeymoon, moon, month, and you can imagine why. So they could procreate once they married, then obviously they could get down to business, as they say, to expand the family. Now, one of the customs in Wales was that the bride would hide on the wedding morning. She would hide from her fiancé, and then his friends would go and find her. Obviously she'd hide very far, but it was a tradition that was very popular in North Wales at the time, and it survived up until the early 20th century as far as I know. Now, Rhys's friends went looking everywhere for Miner and they could not find it anywhere. So Rhys was in the chapel with his friends, and they come back and said, look, we can't find it anywhere. So annoyance grew, and then concern excuse me. So they searched for her everywhere and they could not find it anywhere. The day went on, everybody started looking for Miner and they could not find it anywhere. And by sunset she was still not found, so it came to the conclusion that she had cold feet and done a runner. Now, this knocked Rhys for 6, and he just inconsolable. And in the end, after weeks searching for her and not eating, he became mad and went a bit Mrs. Havisham on the world. Years and years passed, and by now Rhys, there was a promising young man, was a madman that used to go down to the seashore and shout at the storms and rage at the world and the gods, and basically just lost the plot because he lost the love of his life. But one fateful night, Rhys was on the cliff edge and a storm rolled in, and again, as usual, he was there cursing at the storm and raging that he had lost his love, and where was she and why, as you can imagine. And he was standing next to an oak, an old oak that they used to meet by to, do what teenagers do. And as the storm rolled in, the thunder was shouting and Rhys was ranting back at the storms. Then a lightning struck the ancient oak, and Rhys was thrown back. When he stood up, he saw the oak had been split in two by the lightning. And inside, he saw a skeleton in a wedding dress. And he looked again, and he went up close. And he saw in the hand of the skeleton a Welsh love spoon. Now, Welsh love spoons are a custom where, again, very practical. Now in Wales there's a dish known as cawl, which is along the lines of a stew of potatoes and meats and whatever. And if you liked a girl, you would carve her a spoon. And not just a plain spoon, there are symbols. I'll post a link on them, like a heart means I love you, a bell means I wish to marry you. It's like a proposal, something of it like a engagement ring along those lines, basically declaring your intentions towards the maiden. Taking back to my own younger days, when I spoke to a girl, they're like, you're a bit tongue-tied, and a love spoon would be great. And the custom persists to this day, and you can buy some absolutely wonderful spoons, and there's different symbols. And it also worked the other way as well. Now, if a young girl liked a boy, obviously she couldn't present him with a spoon. They were known as rumatam, which is a way of finding out if a boy likes you, and there are many, many types. For example, you peel, one method was on a full moon, you would peel an apple whole and then drop the peel into water in moonlight, and it would take the shape of the letter of your betrothed. Now, Rhys saw this, and he was beside himself with grief. Miner had never left him. She just hidden in the oak and slipped and fallen inside the hollow inside and broken her neck. And he was beside himself, and basically took to his bed and died a few years later of a broken heart. But he was also, sounds strange, but he was happy knowing that she had not left him. And it's said to this day that if you walk along this cliff at Ynysyglas in the Cneen Peninsula in North Wales, on a stormy night you can see a young couple, pair of ghosts running. Now, it's a beautiful story, and I love that one. I'll probably do a load more love stories, and I hope you enjoyed the story. Thanks for listening, and I hope to see you in episode 6. Not sure what the subject yet will be, but if you have any suggestions, I'm more than welcome to take them. Again, you can reach me at the website or leave a comment on the Facebook page or YouTube channel. Again, thanks for listening, and see you in episode 6.